before this video begins, I want to remind you all that the Discord is open again. I decided that I can live with the tumor that it creates, and decided to open it back up again. So if you're interested in being part of the community, just go ahead and drop down there. Go ahead and give it a click. Come in, say hi, say the absolute worst thing you can think of. At this point, I don't even care about putting limits, because I just know that they're not going to be followed. I can't control my own life, let alone control you guys' life. So, I'm done. Go ahead and enjoy the video. You know, one thing I've learned about Rin over the years is that, regardless, he'll always find a way to be a major dick. Now, this job, this operation, this was perfect. Like, a grand heist of sorts.
So if you guys haven't put it together yet, I have been suspended, yet again, on Twitter.
His account had always been set up that way, but when Pyrocynical got suspended, things really started picking up speed. The public, they didn't think it was good old Rin. No. They thought it was their messiah. What's the worst that could happen? Now, if you pay attention, it's never once specified. Never once does this account claim to actually be Pyrocynical. It claims to be PyrocynicalVT, or more specifically, just LOL. Now, the occasional tweets of requesting that the recipient does indeed follow Pyrocynical, whoever the recipient may deem Pyrocynical is. And Notch, you know, the brother of the all-famous Herobrine, began the cycle by following PyrocynicalVT. And all was well, and it was an unbelievable moment until... When the Duckman blew the operation out of the water, it felt like the party was over. But for some reason, people didn't believe the meme duck. Maybe it's because he's a stupid duck and doesn't know anything about anything. So it continued. And soon, big names were jumping in on board. VoiceOver Pete even invited PyrocynicalVT to his home. People were begging for a follow, and it became clear that PyrocynicalVT was getting back on track. The biggest mistake on Rin's part was the fact that he followed some accounts who tried hard enough, and this led to people bragging about it on Reddit, which caught the real Pyrocynical's attention, and Pyrocynical stated that this was indeed not his Twitter. At that point, it did really feel like we were back at square one, and there was no real doubt that this would be the end of the run. But never underestimate how gullible the internet can be. More people still believed it than didn't. Eventually, among the DMs, a very special one came up. Literally, PewDiePie was welcoming Pyrocynical back to Twitter, and right around here is when the stake was about to be put down, and agreed that enough was enough. So we set a deadline. 1 week. 1 week, and we had 3 goals in mind. After these 3 goals were complete, or after the 1 week was complete, we were going to blow the whole thing out of the water. We were going to expose that it wasn't actually Pyrocynical. And those 3 goals were to get Joey Salads to do something unbelievably retarded. The second was to go onto a podcast. And the third was to get an entire community to default dance in the good name of Pyrocynical. So first, we went for Joey Salads. Now, Joey Salads is currently running for Congress at this point in time. I'm not sure why he's doing that or why he thinks he's gonna make it. But he does, and he's running for Congress. Saladino for Congress, my guy. And at this point, he's desperate for any drop of clout he can get. So he was quite happy to accept the offer. It seemed way too easy. That's because it was. Before the video was sent to us, Joey realized this whole thing was fake, and dropped us on our pooper. And that left us with only 2 goals remaining. One mission had failed, but we still had 2. Get on a podcast, and have the community dance. It was at that point that we had noticed that some people from the first podcast had messaged the account requesting that Pyrocynical appear on the first podcast. So an agreement was made upon the terms that they kept it a secret until the day of the podcast. We set this in motion because they had previously had Call Me Carson on the podcast, and Carson was friends with Pyrocynical. I mean, if they just ran their mouth a little bit too much, then Carson would know, hey, wait, that's not actually Pyrocynical, and blow the whole thing out of the water. And now, the plan seemed foolproof, until we joined that server's voice chat and realized that the hosts of the first podcast were telling everybody and their mom that Pyrocynical was coming on the podcast, and telling them exactly who it was. But don't tell anyone was what they were saying, basically. Now, they're great people. They're wonderful people, easy to get along with. They have really good hearts, but I think that their excitement got the best of them at this point. As you're about to see, we just decided to go ahead and screw with them as much as we could. At the time, I had an ingrown toenail, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pull a Despacito meme on these guys.
Hey, the sleepy cat.
What the fuck did you say is coming on the podcast?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Listen, I have an ingrown fucking toenail right now, and I'm just trying to cram it out. I'm trying to take place in the conversation as well, but this fucking toenail, dude.
Fucking pull it out, man. Pussy.
Grab set of industrial pliers.
Just use your teeth, bro.
Listen, I'm not even shitting you right now. Like, I have used my teeth. This shit is not coming out. I was told something about motherfucking Pyrocynical.
No, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Shut up about it.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear anything about that.
Is he true?
Okay, but I know you're bullshitting. Nigga, I got this fucking toenail.
Yeah, same. Ingrown, man. I don't fucking like
especially
that word.
when Taylor Swift says it.
Hey, don't you talk shit about Taylor Swift!
I mean, Lars has been telling everyone who joined voice chat saying.
Oh, who's Pyrocynical?
Sorry, I was not listening at all.
Pyro just revealed himself.
Not on you, but
Ow! Ow! I ripped it out, fellas!
What?
Oh, he really did it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's how I died.
Ah!
Oh gosh, why did you do that?
Oh, dude. Delete that.
What was that? Oh, gross.
Bro, you just posted cringe.
So, the next day, we get a message, and the podcast host had found out that we were fraud. Which was fine, because we still had one final goal. Now, one out of 3 ain't bad. One out of 3, I can't complain. That's 33%, so... Now we had to get the whole community to dance. And we wrote out a really simple rhyme and requested that the community just record themselves reciting this and default dancing. There were a lot of results. Here are the results of what happened with that.
Alright, let's have a fucking look at these. Let's have a look at these. So this is
So basically, for the final stand, just kind of tweeted out, record yourself saying this, lol, and it's just a cluster of inside jokes, like nothing but inside jokes.
It's great.
Gods above, please mix my grace. Please, oh please, I'm on my knees. Like Father, come to pass. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. Basket case adventures, reactions, and more. Stay tuned, boys, there's always heavy lore. Default dance.
Oh no!
Oh god! Fuck! Yes!
No!
Yes!
No!
That was beautiful. Holy shit, dude.
A+.
Stay tuned, boys. There's always heavy lore.
Oh, here we go.
God. Oh God.
Fuck.
I'm so ready, epic gamers. Gods above, please mix my grease.
Why does he sound like he's begging for his life? Default.
Yes.
The default.
Oh wait, he's actually good at it. Fuck yes.
He has a Confederate flag just
Yes. The fucking Confederate flag. Yes.
God above.
Please mix my grease.
Please, oh please.
I'm on my knees.
Like Father, come to pass.
Don't forget the hit scheme.
Basket case.
Adventures.
Reactions and more.
Stay tuned, boys.
There's always heavy lore.
So why did PyrocynicalVT exist? To deliver a message that you can't trust the internet? That anybody can do anything at any time? To show how limitless internet being anonymous on the internet really is? Or maybe to show people that they can be really gullible at times and not notice it? No! PyrocynicalVT existed because it was fun. It was hella fun. It was funny, but of course, that'll never happen again. Right?